computer. Guys, as a heads up, just admitted more people. Pakistan, Mexico, Nottingham, Canada, Buffalo, France, Venezuela, New York, Nigeria, Egypt. This is a truly international event, guys. This is exciting. Thank you for joining. I'm going to give it to Costas. Costas is the co-founder of The Forest, along with a few others here, which we'll get to. And we're going to share a screen and let you know what you guys are in for. So let's get into it.
Welcome, everybody. Wow, I'm so excited to welcome you all to our nice corner in the forest that we are going to talk about NFTs and Web3 and Metaverse and all these cool things that everybody is looking forward learning about. My name is Costas, and as Jacob, my co-founder, just said, I'm one of the co-founders of The Forest, and we decided to put a free workshop to discuss on a high level what the journey in the Web3 world entails. So what you need to have in place, what you need to be aware of, and sharing some of our experiences building this as a project, what we built, and our experience from our first cohort, because for those who don't know, we are also an education platform helping creatives to learn about the Web3. So with no further ado, welcome everybody from all over the world. It's amazing to see so many people from all over. I'm gonna share a screen and I'm gonna explain to you what we're gonna do as we go. My co-founders are gonna be actually in the chat, I hope, and they're going to try to coordinate. We're 5 today from the 10. We are 10 altogether. So hopefully any questions as we go, please feel free to ask, but make sure to, please be aware that we're gonna have questions, Q&A by the end of the presentation. So welcome to the free Web3 training for creators. Please, I know the muting, sometimes we forget. For those who have unmute, please mute your microphone. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let me explain to you what we're trying to explain today. We have to first understand the difference between Web 2 and Web 3, all right? Terminologies that we keep listening lately from many different parts of the internet. So today, we're going to try to give you the first understanding what's Web 2, the difference between Web 3 and Web 2. What are the opportunities in the Web 3? And I'm here to assure you, me and my co-founders, that there's a lot of opportunities in the Web3, especially for the creatives, where we're trying to connect with you guys. What's the current state of the Web3 and the NFTs? How to transition your skills into the Web3. Now, it's a journey, right? So that's why you're using a lot of this terminology, the pipe, the path, the flight, and all of those terminology. But it's a transition. The transition is a journey. So we're gonna show you how to take your skills into the Web3. We want to introduce you to how you can create your own Web3 project and the steps to do it. And that's the main workshop here. And then we're going to have a live Q&A with the co-founders of The Forest. And then we're going to have some information for you guys, how you can join us to our journey. All right, with no further ado, what the hood? And we're using a lot of terminology, owl terminology, among other things, because we're owls, we're nocturnal. And, you know, in ancient Greece, owl was and still is the symbol of wisdom. So you're going to see a lot of owls here. So I'm going to give the podium to John and Jacob to discuss about the state of Web3 and the opportunities. And John, Jacob, please take it away.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Costas. You can go back to the what is Web3 slide. Yep, for John. One more.
Excellent.
Yep.
And we rearranged a couple of things here, guys, too, to look at our flow. But the reason why you're seeing a lot of these interesting elements that Costas had mentioned, given we are the forest, we have very important characters in the forest, the owl of which is one. But there is a reason why you're seeing typefaces, brand elements, elements of the animals, etc. So we can be true to our purpose, which our creative wizard, Jacob, will tell you the ins and outs of. But that is why we're here. We're being true to who we are and why we exist. And the purpose of today, like Kostas had mentioned, is to give you some tips and techniques and overview of the space that you can go and research more about, that you can dive deeper on, and hopefully you can apply to your interest, your hobby, or even your work. And then also afterwards, we'll give you more about the forest. But we wanted to start with a little bit on what is the state of the industry in terms of Web3 and NFTs, and what are the opportunities that present themselves for curious creatives, curious strategists, curious developers, or curious folks that are dipping their toe in for the first time. And we understand there's probably a range of experience and familiarity with what Web3 is, what NFTs are. Some of you may have very well executed your first NFT collection, or have worn a VR headset to dive into the metaverse. So we understand there's a spectrum. Either way, we hope you find your place and you find this training session useful. That's the goal for today. And I want to see if Jacob had anything to add before we dive into some specifics.
Thank you, John. Yeah, so there's a lot to cover here, and yes, we're all at different levels. I want to just go over the quick basics because, you know, some people may be completely new to the space in terms of Web 2, Web 3, and all that entails. So you've probably heard a lot of lingo, excuse me, a lot of lingo around the blockchain, NFTs, and all that entails. So this isn't a training on all those basics on crypto and Web3 and wallets and things like that. We do have some training on that, but we wanted to get into the opportunities available for creators in Web3, and showing some examples of where things could go, some opportunities, or hoonities, I should say, opportunities, and the state of Web3. So there's a lot of opportunity. A lot of companies are going all in onto Web3, Facebook, in the Metaverse, and NFTs with Instagram. They've been integrated. So there's a lot of hope in the air in terms of where things are going, and there are a lot of opportunities for creators. This is a really, really good time to get in. We're super, super early in it, which is a perfect time to grow. So this journey for me started back in the start of the year when I spoke to Kostas, and I had no idea where this would go. It was a journey. Now I have donned a headset. I've gone into the metaverse. You can go to the next slide, Kostas. Have created all these digital avatars. I'm working with a bunch of awesome people from around the world. I'm now in a live Zoom event with literally, there's dozens of countries here with people from all around the world. So who knows where things are going to go. But the purpose of this is to get you excited about the opportunities and to show you the potential of where you could take your existing skills and how to transition them into Web3. And we've done this before with one cohort 1, and we guided them through this process. And it's amazing to see the ideas come to mind when you're aware of what it all entails and what Web3 is and the technologies behind it, the blockchain and NFTs and wallets and how they all integrate. It literally is the future of the internet. It's incredible. I'm super, super excited about it, hence to being here. Yes, we're still new, but the first step is understanding, and that's why we're here. I definitely would not think I would be in the metaverse as of last month. I did a live conference in the metaverse, to designers around the world. That I would never even thought about that earlier in the year. Now I have all these digital avatars. I have a buddy flamingo owl avatar. So it's like, who knows? The point is that get excited. We can fly the skies together, and it is better together, right? The community aspect of Web3 is really, really important. And honestly, that's why we're still here, is the community side of it. So we can jump to, some real utilities or utilities. I think John is going to speak about this, or I believe.
Yep, let's hold it there. And while we dive in, another reminder on how valuable it is now to jump in and the right time to jump in. There are huge moves made by many of the largest and smallest companies in the world into this space. Just yesterday was Facebook's Connect event 2022. They launched a new VR headset. They promised more higher quality avatars. They are leaning into the enterprise and workplace side of the metaverse. So there's a lot of huge things coming in, partnerships. When you've got, in terms of the metaverse, when you've got 7 of the largest companies on earth committing billions to this thing, and one of them, like Facebook, even changing their name to Meta, these are signals that we just simply can't ignore. So this is the right space. Some big news in our OwlSpeak that's come in lately. If you look in the top left, many of you have probably heard of Facebook and Instagram users now being able to showcase their NFTs inside the platform. Rachel reminded us of this again today, where this is for the US. So many of you may already be doing this, but this is a huge signal to indicate a resurgence of NFTs. While this may be a bear market in terms of collecting and the value of tokens themselves, by goodness, it is a build market for creatives and strategists and technologists to bring projects to life in this space, especially when Instagram and Facebook are doing this. In the bottom right, for those in the corporate world, Salesforce. You would not find a Fortune 100 brand on earth that is not driven by Salesforce as an infrastructure. They released about 4 months ago their NFT cloud, where they can give corporations the guidance and the tools to sustainably build and introduce NFTs and loyalties to their customers. Starbucks in the top right, the largest loyalty program on earth, 24 million customers. They are turning on their NFT Web3 platform. So these are signals and big news to let you know that you are in the right place with your interest and with your ability to start or extend a project you have into this space. Really exciting time. Jacob also mentioned the fact that the metaverse. Now, while the metaverse, it can exist independently of Web3, it is a perfect combination of Web3. The ability to bring inside your NFTs to create a gallery in the metaverse, the ability to extend your creative story so you can help folks or your audience and customers step inside your product or your service or your project into the metaverse. Jacob's presented conferences in the metaverse. I help guide some of the largest brands in the world take first steps into the metaverse. We launched the Forestverse, you see there on the right. There is a metaverse space that token holders of Noctuas can enter and browse and share and design together in this space. So this is where we are flying to now, and where you could fly to one day as well. And we can help give you the tools of inspiration to do this. The good thing is, I see some newbie comments in here. The good thing is, you do not need technical expertise, design mastery to be inside the metaverse. There are tools to help you get there with one click directly into the browser with nothing to download. So we'll share you some of those if you choose to take the steps with us. But it's a fascinating space. And we wanted to give you a preview into some of the utilities and examples of NFT projects that do very different things. So imagine you have an idea for an NFT project, or if you don't, and you're purely looking for inspiration, we really wanted today in this free training session for you to walk away with some eye-opening ideas and thoughts that could inspire you that you can take and apply in your own way. If we could jump back to full screen real quick, the first one that we're going to show you here and talk about is CloneX. If you have heard of CloneX, fantastic. If you have not, don't worry. This is a product out of Artifact. Now, Artifact is an incredible Web3 creative agency that was bought by Nike about a year and a half ago. One of the largest acquisitions and fastest way for a big brand to make huge moves in the space. That was Nike buying Artifact. This is an NFT collection called CloneX. And not only is it fascinating because of its artwork, you can see here in the top left and the top right, the characters, but CloneX did something really interesting that few companies have done, which is effectively open source the individual NFTs, those characters for each of their owners, and gift them with the editable files such that they can create advanced 3D renders and really not only use their character as a profile pic on their Twitter account or to sit inside their wallet, but to actually use their characters in full 3D to commercialize them in many different ways. A fascinating example of utility. So this is one to keep in mind. We're going with some big examples just to show you and prove the points, and we'll take threads of this to guide you through the forest for some ideas you can have. Okay, next one, and speed me up, guys, if I'm going too long here. This is another one called The Possessed. Now, about 6 months ago, this burst onto the scene, June 30, I see here. And what this was an incredible discovery in the build up to launch. Talk about sizzle and excitement leading up to a launch. They had these challenges. They had these treasure hunts. They looked for their most passionate fans that could be on their wait list or their VIP list that can be ready to purchase by sending them on missions. And they existed as a way to enhance creativity, to provide incredible new creative experiences, and really narrow down their audience. And so this was a great build up. So another utility you can provide is missions and treasure hunts and things like that. Next, we're doing some quick hits here for you. This is one that I bought into called Wagme United. For those sports fans out there, or football fans, or soccer fans globally, the beautiful game of football. This is the internet's team. They literally purchased a club in England, and they are bringing this team to the masses. So if you are an NFT holder, you have voting rights on the decisions made for the future of the football club. Just incredible ways to harness the power of the crowd and community by providing ownership opportunity in decisions and aspects of the brand and unique merchandise that you can never get before. There's a jersey coming my way soon. This is another one that just shows you the power and difference of utility. Next, let's keep it rolling. This is one that burst onto the scene almost 9 months ago, perhaps, called the Goblins. And this was one of the wackiest NFTs with wacky utility. In fact, no utility. And they were proud of it. These guys broke the rule book on bringing NFTs to market because they outwardly said, we have no utility, we have no purpose, we have no roadmap, we're not giving you all of that. We're just releasing these crazy looking goblin characters, and we're going to jump on live audio calls like this and live Twitter spaces and make ridiculous groaning sounds for hours on end just to show how different we are, because that's what we do. And these were issued free initially, and they rose up to about 50 ETH in value. Incredible, just because they could, no reason at all. So just to show you the span of creativity and the span of utility to give you ideas. Now you might be thinking, I don't even have a project idea, or I have a project, but I can't pull this off. That's not the intention. The intention is to show you what's possible, and then we help you connect the dots and stand out from the crowd with your project. That's just a tease we wanted to leave you with. And if any of my team members or Jacob have anything to add, that's a glimpse into what you can expect.
It is the future, Web3, and we've kind of glossed over the technology that's behind it, right? Blockchain. You have to do some more research in a blockchain, but this is what ties it all together. The decentralized notion of Web3 and how everything is works underneath the hood, the technology behind it. That's really interesting, and that's why these projects are being shared. And we want to show you what is possible, as John has said. So that's the future, but what actually makes a Web3 project a Web3 project? So you can go to the next slide, Kostas. All right, so what John shared were some NFT examples and some really awesome projects, but there's other things that make a Web3 project a Web3 project. So membership or token gating, basically how you can access a particular community or website or project in general. Collectibles, so NFTs, these are huge. If you think of them like how would you say, like a digital asset, if you will. They go into your digital wallet. You can fund a cause with NFTs and smart contracts. Smart contracts that are built into NFTs. So basically, if you make a transaction, on the back end, there's code written that will allow that transaction to happen automatically. So we have that with the forest. When you buy an NFT with the forest, we actually plant a number of trees automatically. 10% of every single sale goes to planting trees, which ties back into our cause as well. It also offsets some of the someone's mute. Sorry, please mute yourself. Funding a cause, proof of completion, certificates. So when you graduate, you can get an NFT that shows you completed, and that stays with you, right? Versus like a piece of paper, your digital profile, it will stay with you, and then you can access other areas. We're very early, but if you think about the potential there, let's say Harvard gives you an NFT, and then you have to have that NFT to get into, let's say, a workplace. Like these are just some opportunities. I'm just sharing this because it helps you understand what is possible in the future and how that could be applied to your project and how you could build that out. Ticketing, video game assets. This is a billion-dollar industry. People buying digital clothing and assets in digital worlds. Then there's the metaverse as well. So there's so much potential, and this is what makes a Web3 project a Web3 project. Rachel, if you want, I know you had a presentation on this, if you wanted to add anything to this slide.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Rachel. I'm part of the tech team at the Forest here. So this is kind of my area of expertise and interest of kind of seeing the inner workings and the back end, the nuts and bolts of like how things actually work and how to make them work. So I will be talking a little bit more about that here in a minute on some of the stuff that we've used at the Forest and different types of tools that you guys can utilize to build NFTs and smart contracts, and some of the things in this list, like the token gating, ticketing, proof of completion, like certificates like we've done for the Forest, things like that, and how you can actually make those happen without having to use code or without having to have a crazy amount of technical skills. So I'll be talking about that here shortly, but I just wanted to reiterate on the utility aspect of NFTs and that it's not just about the artwork. Like the artwork is of course important, but I know a lot of people don't understand, like, oh, well, why are you buying this JPEG that's thousands of dollars? And what we're trying to do is way beyond that. So the art is kind of essentially a placeholder to any of these types of utilities that you can unlock with the artwork. So that's really the kind of the point behind everything that we're trying to show you guys today. So these were a couple of communities that I'm personally a part of and wanted to share with you guys. You may or may not find these particular communities relevant, but I just wanted to show how some of them work and how they're using utility NFTs in their projects. So the first one is Surge. So Surge is basically a women's community in Web3. And so similar to the forest, you get access to a passport, which is this little profile picture sort of thing you see here with a card. So that's essentially your NFT, which unlocks access to different points of their website, different Discord channels, events, workshops, all kinds of educational content, even gives you access to some of their partners and discount codes and coupons and stuff like that, all just for owning one of their NFTs. So that example is very similar to what we do at the forest. A couple other examples here are BuildSpace. So BuildSpace is another educational platform where you don't necessarily have to have an NFT to access it, but they have a lot of really great content about the development and kind of technical side of Web3 and building smart contracts. So if you're interested in more of the nuts and bolts of things, definitely check them out. And what I wanted to mention about all of these projects is that they have very strong communities behind them, and they're constantly reinvesting in their community. So even though you're buying into these things, you're getting way more value than what you're actually buying into. So the next one would be BFF. So this one is actually, it's another women's Web3 group. And this was the first NFT that I personally got about a year ago. So this little charm bracelet on the right here is what I got for attending one of the first events that they did, kind of similar to this, where they did an overview of NFTs and Web3 and how you can get involved. And this was very early on, probably about a year ago. And just because I attended that event and stayed all the way through to the end, they gifted me this charm bracelet NFT. And so since then, you can see the charms have been added to it, which I think is another really cool utility feature of NFTs, is you can actually change them, you can warp them, you can upgrade them. There's lots of different stuff that you can do to enhance them over time, which is another really interesting thing to start kind of thinking about if you want to create a project or a community, and how you can kind of keep rewarding your members for being involved. So that's basically what they do with these charms. So every time you complete an action, or you attend an event, or you do some kind of special thing, you get a charm. And a lot of times they don't even tell you that there's going to be one. So it's just kind of a surprise thing, which I think is pretty cool. And then also BFF, the little t-shirt that you see is actually a shirt that you can put on your character in the metaverse. So I wanted to show that as just an example of how you can also make things into more three-dimensional interactive pieces than just a piece of artwork. It's actually something your character can wear and move around in the metaverse, which is pretty cool. And then the last example, I wanted to showcase something of kind of bridging the technical world and the real world. So the bottom left photo is from the project Doodles, which you guys may have heard of. It's one of the biggest Web3 communities at this point, but they did a really awesome job with their branding and their illustration style and creating like this whole ecosystem of doodles. So they have their community, they have their NFTs, their characters, but then they've just done so many innovative things with the way that their characters can evolve. You can buy like different add-ons to change your characters and animate them and do different things with the actual NFTs, which is cool. But then if you hold those, you can actually get access to real life events and real life experiences as well, which I think is really cool. So this photo was from NFT NYC, where only Doodles NFT holders could attend their little interactive exhibit that they had. So you could actually go in and make t-shirts with your NFT on it and do all kinds of just cool interactive things. So I just wanted to kind of get you guys thinking about that as well, that it doesn't always have to be digital. It doesn't always have to be metaverse, but it can expand out into real life as well.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you, John. Thank you, Jacob. I think that was somehow an extended introduction to the world of the Web3. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. I see on the chat some beautiful ideas already. And that's the beauty of the space. All the ideas that we have that we think may be crazy or maybe like out of context, we can assure you that nothing is crazy and nothing is out of context in the blockchain. The blockchain is the new standard. It's going to be the new standard very soon. And I think the sooner you actually access your idea to the blockchain, the better for you. Now, we're going to discuss about how you can transition your skills to the Web3. You know, I want Jacob to give me a last glimpse for all those bullet points before we go to the main workshop. So Jacob, if you can please elaborate on those bullet points here.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on Rachel's note on communities. And I think the best way to get into Web3, if you're just going to start today, is by joining communities, because it's better when you go together, you learn from one another. It's a new space. And if you can fly together, that's when you're going to learn. And it's when you're going to get motivated. You can ask questions, and that's when you make progress. So I really encourage you guys to join a community that resonates with you. So you can connect with others in the space. It's really, really, a really powerful way to do that, to grow. And, you know, everyone here has skills, and that means you can excel in Web3. You can transition these skills into Web3. You just have to develop the understanding of what's possible, and that's when the magic happens. So how can you actually do that, right? How can you transition your skills and develop new skills to go into Web3? So number one, you can create a passion project, right? But first you need to understand what's possible. And joining a community, like I mentioned, is really important. So you can develop your skills with others, and you can collaborate with others. So because the reason I say that is because there's a lot when it comes to Web3, and you can't do it all, right? So we have tech enthusiasts here, we have developers, we have illustrators, we have community builders, and together you can really create some awesome things. So collaboration is definitely key, as well as community. You know, you can share your projects, you can create communities together. You could even consult for your clients as well, right? Your clients may be wanting to get into into NFTs, or you know, create smart contracts, or maybe you want to, you know, get into something entirely different, development, perhaps Web3 development. So I didn't know, you know, at the start of how do I say this? You know, at the start of the year, I'm not sure where this was going to go, but ever since joining the forest, you know, new opportunities have arisen, right? So speaking in the metaverse, I even got hired for, you know, another NFT brand project. So I didn't know what was going to happen from it, but it's just by putting yourself out there and getting into this world where opportunities arise. So that's how you can transition your skills and get into Web3. What we're going to share now is how you can actually create a project of your own. And this is the best way to learn, because you're actively doing, right? But there's a lot of things to, you know, go through. So go to the next slide, please. So we're going to show you how to create your own Web3 project. And you do that in a 6-step. We show you how to do that in a 6-step process. So you were born to fly, so spread your Web3 wings. To do that, planning, strategy, creating, building, marketing, and launching. So each of us are going to speak on these sections, and we're going to show you how you can actually create your own Web3 project. So you're all going to have different ideas, and that's okay. You know, we all come from different backgrounds. So, but all of these principles apply no matter the project, right? You need a plan. You need to have a strategy, you know, what the plan to win, you know, how are you actually going to achieve that plan? How do you go about creating, right? What do you need to create? And then how do you build upon that? How do you market it to the audience that you're going for? And then how do you launch and grow, right? All those same principles. I'm sure there's a few brand designers in here. You may realize this, be familiar with some of these processes. So we're going to go into these 6 steps in more detail, so you can understand how you can transition your skills into Web3 now that you have the inspiration and some of the opportunities that we've discussed. So let's get into it.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacob. As some people, maybe most of the people don't know, our team is compiled from 10 people, you know, and we all have different skills. And what we're going to explain to you, it's like each person from the team, its co-founder has his or her own territory of expertise. You know, they're going to explain to you on a high level how to do some things building your Web3 project. Of course, we cannot present you the the nitty-gritty stuff, all the specific details, but I think you're going to have a really good initial understanding how to actually prepare for this journey. All right. So planning, it was my territory. I'm one of the 10 co-founders, but I am the person who came up with the initial idea. And before I reached out to Rachel and Jacob, you know, I was elaborating on the idea of getting my hands dirty on the Web3. I have a creative agency specializing in videography, photography, and branding, and all things strategy is something that I live on a daily basis. So getting my skills adjusted for the Web3 journey in the beginning was kind of scary. I didn't know where to start from. So what I wanted to build, it was like actually an educational platform for other people that they can actually take advantage of, share ideas, and build a community of other creators to this journey, so we can share ideas together. So the best way to do it for me was like through ecosystem, and the ecosystem was the forest. All right, the forest, it promotes everything that we love in life and nature. It's actual life, you know, and I needed to have a simple placeholder in my head just to go further with this vision. So, and now it was perfect. And I personally love owls. In the beginning, not everybody from the team was very, you know, excited about owls. For example, Jacob, he was excited about flamingos. But there you go. He made a flamingo owl. So it worked out for us. So bottom line is that how do you start is about getting your idea, whatever the idea is, like externalizing, write it down, discuss it with the people you trust, discuss it with the people that you think you can get some good input or some bad input as well. There's no positive and negative, you know, you need to have a spherical input from both ends that you understand if the idea is good or not. So once I started discussing about the idea, the input was very good. And based on this input, I started like elaborating further, and the elaboration brought the research part, you know, and John helped me a lot with the research. But the research actually made me realize that there is space for me to create a team and share this vision and give this vision to other people and build something huge. The beginning was, as I said, it was kind of uncharted territory. We didn't know how to do it. So that's why I reached out to Rachel and Jacob, and immediately we built a team of other people we knew. So that was the next step. After like externalize the idea, discuss it, elaborate it, and I built a story. I forgot about the most important thing, actually. The story. What's the story here? You know, I mean, what we're telling right now, it's a story, right? We all live by the stories. We like movies. We like stories from friends, stories from people. We say something with each other. It's a story. So I need to build this story. Why? What was the reason behind it? The mission, the vision, you know, all the things that compile this vision. So after the story, I reached out to Rachel and Jacob, and this is where it started. You know, they liked it. We did some tweaks so we can align on a complete level. We build a team, and this is how it starts. So the planning stage is actually the very, very initial stage to actually write down your idea. See how far you can go with the idea, how thorough you can be with an idea. And in our world, we're using a method that I have created. It's based on inputs and outputs. It's kind of a methodology to help you construct a very solid idea. And this is where it starts. After the idea, we need to find the people, and we found the people, and the journey started. And the next part, of course, you know, after its segment, we're going to tell you what's the biggest top tip of its segment. We have to live with purpose. For me, it's about share the purpose, you know, share the mission, share the vision. So we actually did it. We actually did very good to have a vision that people can fall behind, can understand it, and share it. Because if it was only my purpose, only my vision, it's me, right? But sharing it with 10 people that they get it, they want to follow it, and they can own it on their own because it represents them. That was like, I will say, the most important part of the whole project. So that was very successful. So we lead with purpose, we lead with vision, and we ended up start building the project. Now, we go to the second part of this step-by-step process, and it's a strategy. Strategy was basically constructed based on the initial inputs from Jacob. You know, he's our lead brand strategist, and he nailed everything. So he's going to explain to you about his thought process and how he compiles strategy. All right, so Jacob, take it away.
Thank you, Costas. And just to go on to the planning side of it, so Costas did a brilliant job of hooking me into the forest, and that is not an easy task to do. To start a new business with someone, and we had a number of conversations talking about it, and the thing that got me excited was the purpose and the vision. So when we talk about planning, it's like, what are you actually trying to create here? What's the purpose behind it? And that got me excited. And because I love empowering creatives, it really aligned with, my mission and my purpose. So that's why we're here today. And it only just got more exciting the more I learned about the blockchain, NFTs, and the possibilities. So that kind of led to, naturally into strategy, brand, and design, which is just my passion as well. So strategy, what is that? It's a plan to win. So you want to keep the end in mind, right? What are we trying to do here? And that is directly tied to the purpose, right? So our purpose, right, is to empower creatives and creators with getting them into Web3, teaching them about empowering them with the tools, technology, the resources to thrive as professionals in the Web3 space. So that's our purpose. And our strategy is how we're actually going to do that, right? We create a brand, we create a platform to help encourage and empower creators to thrive. And there's a lot to unpack there, but how we actually do this, right? I'm going to give you an example based on our building the forest. We got 10 co-founders together. We had a workshop period. We all got aligned in that workshop because we weren't truly aligned, and we got down to something a bit more true. And from that, we created the brand strategy, and then created the design. So the point I want to make here for when you're creating your Web3 project is that you need to understand your purpose, the story that you're telling, and who you're going after. I didn't even mean that pun, but who you're going after is really integral. So let me break it down a little further, because strategies are such a big word, or encompassing word. But when it comes to building a brand, first you want to know your company, why you're doing something in the first place, which is directly tied to planning for step one. You want to know who you're targeting, who you're essentially helping, right? So in great detail, the better you know your customer, the better you can grow your brand, and also the category that you're playing. Who are you up against? So if you know those three things, that's a really good start when it comes to strategy. Let me say it again: your company, your customer, and the category. So 3 things. So there's a lot to unpack. I'm not going to spend more time on it, but I really want to stress that purpose comes first, then the strategy, aka the plan to win. You look at the company, you look at the customer, and you look at the category, and then you go out and build your brand. And that kind of ties into the next section, which is about creating. In this particular instance, we're talking about creating artwork. I believe Chris is going to be talking about this. So I'll go into step number 3.
So,
hey everyone.
Hello, Chris. Before you start kickstarting your small presentation, I wanted to mention that this is a recorded video. So whoever wants to rewatch it with all the notes and everything, of course, it's available. So keep that in mind, but feel free to get your notes for now. That's a high level overview of how to build a Web3 project, so we're not going to go in extended detail, but we're here to answer any question you may have. All right. So without further ado, let me introduce you our lead designer, Chris Salinas. And he's actually a very talented designer. He helped us to design pretty much the artwork and everything in social media assets, and he's going to tell you more about the creating process. So Chris, take it away.
Hey, thank you, Costas. Hey, everyone. As Costas said, feel free to leave your questions in the chat. I will make sure to take a note on them, and we can have a Q&A at the end. First of all, apologize for not having a video. I'm moving right now, so I hope at least you have a good audio. And next time I'll make sure to be on my desk. So about creating, yeah, art, as you know, is subjective. So completely different to everyone and to every project. But I think this is what make it also beautiful. And for me, the idea is the most important aspect before even getting into creating. From the first cohort, we saw that a lot of people came in with ideas, with art, because most people are creatives, are designers, so this makes sense. Some key points will be for the arts to reflect the vision that we talked before, to symbolize the utility that you're bringing, and make sure you're following the branding. So all the steps that you learned before will play a huge role when you come to create. Research, branding, target audience, that's very important. And then even for the people that are not in the creating industry and not designers, and you are maybe thinking to hire someone as a designer, again, you should try to learn a little bit about design, the design process, and this will help you to communicate later on with a creator, an artist, and it will save you time, effort, and money. A sneak peek, I will say, of what we do in the forest that I think it's very important is the file preparation. So if you have your art done, preparing your file, structure it correctly to later on go into Web3. That's very important. Obviously, that's a lesson by itself, so cannot go into details into that. But yeah, preparing your file, and then there is a ton of tools that we use to take those files and make it easier and faster and automate some rules, especially if you're thinking to create many artworks, like 1,000, 10,000, like even 100 NFTs can be very tough if you are creative and you want to create them all at once. Yeah, so this is my my part from the creating.
Of course, just to mention,
think-
Chris,
Mhm.
just to add to this input here is that there's so many different projects, so many different artwork, but thankfully, the technology has been advanced so much that there are tools out there. There is software actually that if you have a design perspective and you know what you want, there is like an infrastructure out there that it can help you to expedite your project. So, and I know Chris, as good as a designer he is, he's also very good in using technology to help us, creating multiple assets and all these different traits and layers and stuff. So I know, Chris, that you used what was the software you used to generate our artwork?
The main one was Bueno, which is a very good tool. There's a lot of tools out there, but yeah, thank you, Cos, for mentioning that. I almost forgot that if you want to create your art and you don't know how to draw, you don't do illustrations, you're not a designer, that doesn't mean you're not able to create art. There's hundreds of tools right now that you can create what you have envisioned, for sure.
Fantastic. All right. So yeah,
Just
the top tip of creating.
Rachel.
One more thing, Kostas, we didn't really touch on smart contracts or royalties as at anything up to this point. So maybe it's worth sharing around smart contracts and royalties.
Yeah, I can add to the creation of smart contract development, and the royalties is actually a part of the transaction later on as a holder. So I think maybe this subject is maybe Rachel can help us with this subject, but I think for the smart contract development, it's also a part that people feel there is a block to them, that they need to hire a smart contract developer, they need to hire like Web3 developers. But I think in the next step of our process, Rachel will be able to elaborate that smart contract development, it's not so difficult to accomplish with the technology. So next step, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris, for your input here. The building. So after we plan in our mind what we have and plan with our first people on the team, what we need to build, and after we create a strategy and we create our brand and everything and start creating our assets, it was about time to start building. And building, it's an essential part of a Web3 project. Rachel, she's our tech lead. She's an amazing developer. She's going to tell you more about her process and her thought process building our infrastructure. Rachel, take it away.
Hey guys, so I could probably go on about this for several hours, so make sure you cut me off at some point. But I definitely have a lot of tools and resources to share with you guys that we've learned from this arduous process of building the forest, because we kind of all just dove headfirst into the Web3 technology before, as things were being built out and as new software was being made, like the software that we use, Bueno, to organize our artwork. Like a lot of that stuff didn't exist, or it was just being built as we were building the forest. So that was an interesting experience, and we learned a lot from that. So I definitely want to share some tips and some tools that you guys can use. So none of the stuff that we've built at the forest has had to use code, and we utilize a lot of different software for that. So like Chris mentioned, Bueno is a great platform for organizing your artwork, especially if you're going to do a collection that is similar to ours, our owl characters, where we have different traits and different assets for each character. So like different eye colors, different hats, different shirts, things like that. Bueno is awesome for that. You can set different layers and you can order them. You can set the rarity of traits and all sorts of stuff with that. And you can also do smart contracts directly through Bueno, or if you want to customize your project a little bit more, you can use a tool that we use called Third Web. I put the link to that in the chat if you guys want to check it out. But it's a platform that you can use with or without code. It automatically creates the smart contracts for you. So you just basically upload your artwork, you name it, you add a description, you set your price, different parameters that you want to have, and it creates a smart contract for you. So you don't have to hand code that or pay a developer to do it for you. So that is definitely one of our favorite tools at the forest. We use it for everything that we do. And just a little bit of a process on if you're thinking about building a project, some things to think about. So the first thing would be for your NFTs, if you're going to create one-of-one NFTs like our Noctuas, the unique combinations of traits only occur one time. So they're one of one. Or if you want to create a piece of artwork and sell copies of that artwork, so multiple series of one piece of art, you can do that as well. So making that differentiation is going to tell you what kind of smart contract you need to use in Third Web. So that's why that's important. And then deciding the type of NFTs that you want to use, like we talked about earlier, where they have different utilities to them. There's different things, add-ons and things that you can do with them. So making that differentiation is important early on as well. And choosing if you're going to take your NFTs directly to a marketplace like OpenSea to sell to the public, or if you're going to do a community drop, which is what we do, where we release our NFTs to our personal community first before anybody else. So those are just some things to be kind of thinking about, kind of marinate on in the back of your brain as you're thinking about building a project. And then also choosing which blockchain you're going to use. So there's tons of different blockchains and more being made every day. We personally use Ethereum at the Forest, but there's also Solana, Polygon, all sorts of different blockchains. They all have different pros and cons, and they all have different communities around them as well. So maybe depending on the type of artwork that you want to create, maybe check out some of those different blockchains and start with some of those communities to kind of get your feet wet. And the last thing is, so wallets and token gating. So token gating is literally just having an NFT token. You have to have that to access something. That's all that it is. It's just a fancy word that people throw around. So thinking about that concept and how you can use it in your project, as an example with the Forest, we're using it so we token gate our Discord. So NFT holders have access to additional channels that other people don't get to see. We also use it on our website, where you have to have one of our NFTs to log in to our website and access all of our educational content and our library of stuff that we have. So those are just some examples on how you can use it, but just to be thinking about that process and how you can kind of integrate it with other tools like your website, your Discord, eventually social media. Who knows what else might come out of it, but yeah, that's
Thank you.
what I have for building.
That was great. As always, Rachel, very explicit. But for the people who may be a little bit into the identification of terms like airdrop and smart contract and all of this, I can totally understand where you guys come from. This is how we start. If you have any questions like about terminology, feel free to stay later on, because we're going to stay a little bit longer just to answer some very, very beginner level questions. All right. So don't worry if you don't understand something, just try to understand and follow the flow as we're doing it. And if we become too technical, we apologize. So we're going to try to actually redeem ourselves by answering those questions by the end of this workshop. Now, the next step is something that it can be a pain in the, where, for a lot of people, marketing, how to reach, engage, grow your audience. That's also where our team, Konstantinos, Fotis, and me, and, most of the people here, all the members, and John, of course, we contributed in collaborating in actually creating a communication platform for what we do. And it's not easy. I mean, everybody has questions about how to grow a following. I mean, I personally do, my agency provides services to the hospitality industry. People ask me how to grow my following, and they don't even understand what it means. You want to increase your sales, or you want to increase your sales through growing your following, so what growing your following means exactly. So for us, it wasn't about growing a following. Our strategy from the beginning is to focus one person at a time. Our focus was to reach out to our friends. We're 10 co-founders, and reaching to one friend, it's 10 more people, and creating like a small ripple, but that keeps going on the water. You start creating some buzz. And then with the combination of some really nice content, some educational snippets, artwork, and consistency, we created a small ripple effect. There are 5 elements that you need to think about when it comes to marketing. And that's not only for the NFT world, but also for the rest of the world. But for us, the number 1 is to have a community server. And we use the word Discord, right? A lot of people still don't know what Discord is. And I don't blame them, because Discord still remains a complicated platform for a lot of people. But it's a necessary evil. And once you get into the Discord as a community platform, you understand the semantics. There's a lot of things going on in the Discord servers, a lot of people we don't want to talk to, but that's why they're increasing their security levels on and on and on. And I somehow show on the chat that somebody mentioned about the security, and security is very important in the Web3. And the more the technology gets advanced, the better for the people, the safer they're going to be. But hacking is everywhere. But I don't want to discourage you here, because hacking on the general context, it's like a crime. It's out there. We cannot escape from it. We need to be careful how to use our information, how to do things on the net. In the blockchain, things are a little bit more secure than the Web 2. Now, building a Discord server, how do you start? Because this is your main marketing, the people who come in your yard. That's how we call it, in your yard. They're coming. How do we engage with them? How do we talk with them? How do we observe what they're posting? How do they interact with other people? That's our first marketing channel. So community, number one. Number two, social media. You need Twitter and you need Instagram. Now, it's interesting that for a visual world, especially in the NFT world, Instagram is not as strong as Twitter. Twitter is the number one social media platform for NFTs. And the reason is because the information is fast, digestible, and it's not so visually engaging. And we're all already overwhelmed with a lot of information with the social media. But the NFT world, because people are looking for value, Twitter is the number one platform to provide you value on a snippet of some few words and phrases. So somehow Twitter has become the number one platform for NFTs. So it's good to have a Twitter account that you can maintain and consistently post. And it's not so difficult. I know a lot of people don't do Twitter, and as creatives, we're more into Instagram. So I will say a combination, a sweet spot between the use of NFTs on Twitter and NFTs communication on Instagram is appropriate. Then we are trying to build a list. So email is the next channel that we try to use for marketing. So how do we build email? Again, it's the same, reaching out to one person at a time. We build a list one person at a time. Now we ended up having like a 4-digit email list, but that doesn't mean a lot of things. You just have to maintain a list because people, they change interest from time to time. So you need to consistently remind them what you're doing, what you're building, the advancements, and eventually people will be on the right timing. They will be interested about your project. And that comes back to what Jacob said about target audience, because the target audience, if you know your target audience, then you're going to be able to find the timing eventually to match people's needs. And then it's the website. A website should be like, it's your storefront. It's all the information you need to have about how you actually communicate your values, your mission, your vision, your artwork, frequently asked questions, the team, the story, all of those things, they have to be available on a very simple website. And we try to create a very simple website. Eventually, because the information was keep growing, we have to make a website with a lot of information, especially on the frequently asked questions. But people find it very attractive. The information was compelling for them to sign up for our email list or to sign up to the Discord, because we have two call to actions. We have join our Discord server or join our email list. We gave two options. That was mostly an experiment, and it worked, for both targets, people that they want to go Discords that just want an email, people that want to go to Discords, or people that want both Discords and emails. So with those 5 elements, you can actually create your initial marketing situation here. The other thing we try to do is, like, at least in the beginning, our team meetings, we try to be as transparent and honest about the information we want to convey to the world. So we actually created live recordings of our discussions, and we just post on YouTube. I don't know how many people watch them, but for us, it was a showcase of confidence in what we're building, because there's no hidden agendas, when you're dealing with 10 people. And I know your project maybe doesn't include so many people, maybe includes only you, but I'm talking from a perspective of building a team, that we all felt confident to share information. We all felt comfortable to have our conflicts publicly, so it was a very healthy interaction, so we can understand how we work together. And we publicized that. That was very, very empowering for where our project is right now. So I don't know if John wants to jump in, and maybe because marketing is also his expertise, but my big top tip here is, like, grow your project one person at a time. Always remember that you refer not to the masses, you refer to one person somewhere in the world. And with this mindset, this is how you build confidence. This is how you build, through your clarity, the confidence that you need to go further to this journey. So for us, I mean, we didn't do aggressive marketing. We didn't do paid ads. We just 10 people organically collaborated, shared tweets, shared Instagram stories, communicated on Discord server, sending emails. That's how we did our marketing. Was it successful? I think it was, because we met some really good people in the first cohort, and those people will actually set the tone about the quality of the people we want to attract. People with vision, people with dreams, people that they want to take their skills into the Web3. So John, is there anything else you want to refer to for our marketing strategy?
Just very quickly to build on everything Kostas had mentioned, you know, there's a saying that if a tree falls in the forest, no one will hear it. We are the forest, and we want to make sure that if a tree falls in a forest, that people can hear it. So one of the things we believe in is sharing and building in public. And I think that's something that's key to Web3 and NFT projects. What we're seeing is not waiting for months on end until there's something tangible or functional to share in a project. It is sharing your updates, sharing your story, sharing the mission you were on, and the purpose that's keeping you centered on your North Star. That is a great organic way to build a following as well. And NFTs and Web3 has shifted the marketing funnel completely. I mean, the ability to incentivize your earliest adopters and your earliest followers with ownership, with tokens is fantastic. No longer needing to use paid media to find customers. So there's some really smart elements going in, but everything Kostas said, I think, was right on point.
Thank you, John. And that's the last part of our journey, the launching. I think Rachel can elaborate this, and we need actually to, yeah, we want to go to the Q&A, but let's go to the last step of our process here, the launching. How did we do it? I think Jacob and Rachel can elaborate on this part. So guys, please take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things to consider in launching your project. I mean, you have your different social media channels, you have your website, you have your email list, you have the actual NFTs and the technology behind that, making sure everything's ready to go. And I think there's a lot to think about. And I think the main thing for us was just making sure that we were all on the same page. We knew when we were launching, who was doing what was going to happen, and setting expectations for that. Yeah, I mean, Jacob, do you have anything to add to that?
It's yeah, as you said, it's combining everything that you've done to that point and letting people know. So if you've effectively grown your audience and you have, well, let's back up a bit. If you have a purpose and you have a strategy on how to win, and you've built your you created your project and you've built it up, and you have the technology behind it, and you've built an audience, if you follow those 5 steps, that's when you're ready to launch. And what was effective with the Forest was having deadlines in mind, so that we were working towards something. It was really, really effective. If we didn't have deadlines, it was less effective. So that was just one tip that we found useful, is having deadlines that you want to work towards. Because, if you're given, 3 months to do something, it'll take you 3 months. If you're given 3 weeks to do something, it'll take you 3 weeks. So give yourself a date that you want to work towards, get it out there, get feedback, and improve on it, right? We're in cohort 2 now, and we've learned from the first cohort what was most powerful, and we've doubled down on what's working and got rid of the fat. And that's that's the best part about it. You learn as you go and evolve, and that's the best thing about building in public, sharing, that you can learn, improve, and that's part of the journey. So yeah, follow those steps, click launch, go to the moon, and yeah, we're all going to make it.
Yeah, it was a definitely exciting journey. I know you guys, that was too much information to start with, so we tried to keep it as sweet and short as possible. There is so many things we can elaborate on. That's why we have our second cohort coming very soon. So we would like to talk about it at some time in a few moments. But before we do that, I would like to tell you some things very fast about our team, so you can understand the different components. And here's the thing. If you are one person, you can wear all the hats. And being a part of the community eventually in the same realm, you can find people that they can help you in the components you can not actually be as good as you think you can be. Or, we have also to be realistic. Me personally, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a branding strategist, but I cannot do everything on myself, so I have to talk to people and to share the vision. And people jumped in and they did amazing. I'm very proud of the team. We have Jacob, he's the branding strategist. Rachel, she's our lead technology officer. We have John, he helped us with the strategy, and he has helped us with the research and the very high level execution of things. We have Konstantinos and Sherlyn that helped us with the marketing. We have Fotis, we added the sonic branding. He did the music, the original theme of the forest, so we have also a musician to do the music, so he also participates in marketing. We have, of course, Chris, who is our lead designer, and we had Brian, who was the community manager, and he's the one who was trying to hold, engage with people. One of the most difficult parts, I would say, and admit, the community management, but definitely doable. Now, for your information, for the people who want to consider eventually that they want to go further, we have our second cohort in a few weeks, and this is how we're going to present it. It's 6 weeks, 6 workshops. We have the plan and build and grow your Web3 project, live with expert guidance from us, and maybe some people from the cohort 1. You get the lifetime access to the forest tools, and we have quite a good arena of tools with templates and the guides. And of course, you have lifetime access to our community. You get to meet a lot of other creatives, a lot of other creators that they share projects, and eventually you maybe want to be of assistance to some other creators and creative with your skills. So there's a lot of opportunities here. And of course, you have access to us, exclusive personal guidance and mentorship. We're available. Once you become part of the forest, that's what we do. That's what we love to do. We want to share our mentorship, our whatever we learn from this journey with you. And that's exactly how this whole curriculum is going to be constructed. Weeks 1 from 3, we have the planning, strategy, and creating, like we explained to you. Weeks 3 from 6, it's the building, the marketing, and the launching. Jacob, please tell us about the Forest Passport. I think, as you can see, the branding design from Jacob is top notch. We love it, but tell us more about the Forest Passport.
Awesome. Thanks, Kostis. So yeah, the cohort 2 is one part of the forest. And we want to make clear that because this is a Web3 business, right, a platform, you can, when you join cohort 2, you actually get a passport, which is what you see here. And that gives you access to all of the forest. So think about the forest as the umbrella brand. And then there's the Forest Academy, which is basically the university inside the forest. And then there's cohorts and educational videos, resources, downloads. That's all part of the Forest Academy and the forest as a whole. So when you join the cohort 2, right, you get an owl of your own. You get the Forest Passport, which is actually an NFT. And when you actually get an egg, which hatches into one of your own unique owls, which is generated at random. So everyone that joins the forest becomes a noctua or an owl. It's noctua for it's Latin for owl. So everyone gets a passport. They get their own owl, and you get access to everything in the forest now and the future, and in the future. So to put that in perspective, everyone that joined cohort 1 now has access to everything in cohort 2 and everything beyond. So that's what's really interesting about Web3 and how token gating, which is what we're utilizing here, is that the value grows as the business grows. And the larger the community, the more value that NFT holds. So that's the beauty of this. So yes, you get the passport. What's the next slide? I think the testimonials. Yeah. So you get access to all of the forest, the education curriculum, the videos. And what we didn't mention was that although we have 6 live workshops, you'll actually get access to everything we've recorded in the past as well. So all those 10 workshops from the previous cohort, you can have access to and everything in the future. So if this presentation has inspired you in terms of getting into Web3 and the opportunities, and you actually want to build something in Web3 with expert guidance, this is exactly why we created this cohort, to guide you along that process, and you actually to get shit done, right? That you have the accountability with people and you can actually build something, and that's how you learn, right? You can learn how to plan properly. You learn how to integrate strategy, brand, and design to build something with substance. You learn how to create, your art or whatever it is that you're creating, smart contracts, NFTs. You learn how to integrate Web3 technologies into your project. You learn how to market, reach, and engage, and grow your audience, and how to launch effectively. All right, so we'll guide you through all.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jacob. The very last part, if you want to know more information, go to the fo.rest/passport. I'm sure Rachel can tell you more about how you can mint and how you can pre-mint. Maybe we can leave it for at the end if people want to ask about the pre-minting, but we are here to ask any questions about pre-minting and minting. And we would love to hear from you. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Thank you for being here in this beautiful, beautiful day. I know what day is it. I'm in upstate New York, and it was a beautiful fall day today. I don't know where you are, but I see a lot of places. I hope you had a beautiful day so far. I know Chris, he was kind enough to gather the questions you guys posted on your on the chat. So let's start with those questions, and whoever has questions after that. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we had some very good questions on the chat. I saw that some of you, the founders, started answering them, but I think we can go through them since maybe people missed the chat.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go, like the first one we could answer is from Valentina, that she's asking if there's been a recording of that because it was late. I think I can answer yes. There is a recording available that's going to be sent to you. So if you joined later on, you can see again the beginning. And then I'm going to go to a question from Jana that I think it's one of the things that we talked about a lot in the beginning. And she's asking, I'm curious from the forest perspective, what are your thoughts about the energy used for blockchain and metaverse tech?
Yes, I think John also responded with the new Ethereum merge and the new state of things right now, Jaina, about how the technologies are moving forward to create energy efficient technologies. So that's where the world goes, right now. Until then, we need to be responsible about the way we're using the technology. From our end, we found a cause. I think Jacob mentioned in the beginning that with the purchase of every Noctua, we offset, we actually keep a commission to give to the One Tree Planted, which is a global forestation organization, nonprofit, and we plant trees. So we want to somehow offset and compensate and maybe overcompensate so we can leverage our energy expenditure. So that's our part in this energy. And we're very energy friendly and we're very energy conscious. And the forest, the whole message behind the forest is all about sustainability. There is a lot of discussions and a lot of things that going on in the world of the Web3 right now about the energy. But what we know so far, and we're very pleased to know, is that all the technologies are moving forward to a safer energy execution to create a sustainable energy for NFT creation and blockchain transactions. So that's our take from the energy perspective from our end. I hope that answers your question, but if you have more questions about it, I would love to answer that after that. And I know John answered already with the Ethereum merge, which is huge. Chris?
Awesome. Tom asked in the beginning, he needed to left, but he gonna watch the recording. How are NFTs being used in practice?
Yeah, so I think maybe goes to the categories of NFTs, right? So maybe we can have Jacob or Rachel or John answer that, or all of you.
I'm sorry, my internet cut out, so I missed part of the question. Chris, can you repeat that one more time?
Yep. How are NFTs being used in practice?
Okay. So, I mean, I think we provided, between John and I, we provided a crap load of examples of how NFTs are
Mhm.
being used. So
Yep.
hopefully we answered that question, but I think, I mean, just in general, I think mostly see them as a membership token, access to communities, also being used as like ticketing for events and workshops and things. Also being used as video game assets is another huge growing industry right now. So designing outfits, characters, traits, items, different things that you can actually import into a video game or into the metaverse is a huge, like, bazillion-dollar industry right now. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add that I missed.
Yeah, those are great ones, Rachel. And you know what we're seeing too in the retail space and with clothing and apparel brands, shoe brands as well, Nike, etc. We're seeing NFTs issued along with physical item purchases. So what that's basically doing is giving you take a hoodie, for example. There's another one, phone cases, anything that you can purchase physically. Retail brands are looking at ways to offer the digital twin or the digital version of that same piece of clothing, for example, so that you don't only own the physical thing you can wear, you also own the digital footprint of it to authenticate your purchase. So you're seeing a mixture of both of those things. So the idea of phygital, you may have heard of, the physical and digital coming together, which is one of the beautiful things of Web3, the merging of those two spaces. So you're seeing not only an ownership of one of many possibilities, you're also seeing ownership of one of those particular instances. And really, to think of an easy way to summarize the power of NFTs, think of it as just the digital version of being a member of a club. So any type of club or fan base or support you can have for a broader product or community, you can offer through an NFT to reward those members for their participation. I mean, the gaming side alone, if you think about gaming, we all grew up, you know, some more than others, maybe playing video games. Folks have started to say, well, look, I spent countless hours, weeks, months, years playing in a certain game, and I didn't get anything out of it. All I got was sore eyes and a headache and some fun. I mean, there's games that are being literally rewritten around the aspect of ownership. So folks can own their characters in a game and be rewarded for the time spent playing and being able to exchange items inside of those games as well. So many industries and many different products and brands are rethinking what does it mean to be a customer. And NFTs are playing a huge role in that. And soon they won't even be labeled as NFTs, and they won't even be seen as something new. They'll be a natural step in the customer process for whatever it means to be a customer in a brand or company.
Yeah, I think the bridge between digital and physical is as long as you're creative enough to create amazing opportunities, you can build amazing reward systems in steroids, right, in the Web3. So yeah, thank you both. That was great. Yeah, I hope we answered your question, my friend. Chris, what's next?
Yeah, I see Bonnie. She's raising her hand. She asked a question before about video, but maybe she wants to speak.
Yeah, Bonnie, go ahead. You're muted. I'm sorry.
Okay, I just want to know if you can go over the prices, the fees.
the price and fees of our cohort, or?
Of the doing the whole thing?
Yes, so we can, Jacob, do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, so cohort 2, yeah, that's so we didn't want to make this too promotional, but we wanted to give you inspiration for what is possible. And if you want the guidance to come into cohort 2 and join the forest, then you can. There's instructions on how to do that in the chat. You have to register for the wait list. And once we open the cohort, then you can mint the NFT, join the forest. So currently the fee is to join, the investment, not fee, investment to join the forest for now and for in the future is 0.5 ETH. So that is roughly around 650 US dollars right now. That fluctuates with the market just like any other currency. So ETH is a cryptocurrency. You can, we have tutorials on how to get a wallet and to load up your wallet to become part of the forest. So we didn't want to make that a part of the presentation, but
yeah, we can help you. We can guide you with the
that.
wallet and everything. So yeah, right now it's in half an ETH, but the prices are fluctuating. The value deliverables are changing. The first cohort was like 13 weeks. This cohort is 6 weeks. So we grow, we become more efficient, we streamline, we're building the community. So yeah, if you need more information, Bonnie, please stick around and we will have to elaborate further. But thank you so much for the question.
Yeah.
Bonnie, I think you're muted. Bonnie, you're muted.
Okay. What I wanted to know, what is the amount for the course, for the workshop to provide, to make your own community?
Yeah, so access to the forest and everything, right? So it's 0.5 ETH, which equals approximately 650 US. And that gives you access to the cohort and everything in the future and everything in the past, right? All our videos, all our templates, the whole community, private Discord channels, access to everything. So it's 650 for the cohort and everything. So I just want to make that clear. If you're interested, please get in contact with us. We have instructions on how to go through the steps to join the forest.
When does it
we won't get
start? When does
it will be
start?
starting in late October.
And is it 1 day a week?
It will be one workshop a week over 6 weeks, and we're going to tailor it based on who is joining, based on time zones and everything. It's going to be very tailor-made to every single person, every single projects, and based on their goals. So it's very individualized if you want to build with us.
Thank you, Bonnie, for the question. I hope Jacob answered your questions. We really appreciate the interest here. Chris, do you have other questions recorded?
Yeah, actually, Rick just asked, he says this has been really inspirational to me. I hope that in the future you will make a subscription. What is perhaps another important question, is there such thing as a ETH subscription?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of subscriptions. There are subscription-based services in the Web3 world. It's acting like the normal subscription system. You just pay with crypto. We were thinking actually to incorporate subscription-based product, and we're still thinking about it. And eventually, we may come up with something, because this question is quite common from some other folks as well. So thank you for that question. It keeps validating our path towards create some subscriptions. So yeah, you definitely can make a subscription-based system with ETH and Web3 technologies. But there's more technical situation, we can analyze it, but we would like to elaborate at some point later on. Thank you for your question. I think, Chris, I saw in the chat, Ruben has a nice question about...
yeah, this is where I was going. It's actually asking you, how do you summarize the original vision and purpose? And how do you keep the team in tune with that?
Oh, wow.
There is also an extension, but if you want to start with this.
What's the extension? Tell me.
Okay. And And is it possible that people bring their own purpose to the team? Like in a company, people may join for different reasons. Is there a secret to supercharge and anchor the original valuation? If so, what is it?
That's actually a beautiful question. I'm gonna have an umbrella answer to this. As I told you, the same as marketing, it was the same building the team, one person at a time. You need to have extensive discussion with the people you want to collaborate. You need to spend time, invest time, explaining, analyzing, elaborating. And I wasn't trying to convince. I was trying to explain, which is different. I wasn't selling. I was sharing. I was trying to bring people into my mind and validate in some capacity if the idea is good. And thankfully, Rachel and Jacob, the first members of this foundation we built, after not a lot of discussions, but quite a few discussions, we found like sweet spots and we aligned. And once you have 3 people align, the next and the next and the next comes easier somehow. It's the same with our marketing. We're focusing on one person at a time. So we're very careful about having a vision that is not too broad. It's very doable. It's very reachable. It's within reach. Not, you can see it, you cannot really touch it yet, but it is within reach. With the right collaboration, the right team, and the right efforts and execution, you can reach the vision. And we build a mission actually to reach that vision, because the mission is the ongoing strategies to create the path to reach the vision. And people can bring their purpose, because through sharing big visions or any kind of vision, people have their own individual purposes. They don't have to be exactly the same like yours, Alignment means that you find different parts and you just plug the parts that you can connect with. And I can tell you, still, with 10 people, we're not really 100% vibing, 100%. We have respect. We understand the vision, That doesn't mean that we 100% agree to everything, So it's very important to be transparent, open, honest, having like discussions about the things that you have concerns with. And this is how you build an efficient company structure, at least from our experience in the forest. I hope, Ruben, I answered your question. That was beautiful, beautiful question.
I'll also add on to that, Costas, aligning all the team members, right? It's easier when it's small, a couple of members, but as soon as you add, 10 plus, things get interesting. One tip is to give everyone a voice, right? Allow them to be heard, share their opinions and their thoughts on it, and get alignment between the team. So we did this early on. We had a big workshop, 10 of us met together. We got out all our thoughts down on an interactive noteboard, and we saw where there was alignment, and we all came to agreement after that. And then we had a very strong purpose and vision, and that's stayed true to today. So it is really about alignment and getting people on the same page.
Jacob, can I say something?
Yeah.
Are you going to be doing another one after this one, or is this going to be it?
It's the forest is an ongoing project, and we're always improving. What was that, sorry?
I'm talking about the course, the 650 course. I'm going to be doing another one.
It's an ongoing. Every cohort is different, so we improve in every single time based on the feedback we get. So cohort 3 will be different to cohort 2, but it's going to be better. Every cohort is going to be better and better. From the more we learn, the more feedback we get, and every project is going to be different. So to answer your question, yes, there will likely be another one, but it will be different. This one would be based around those 6 buckets that we spoke about, the 6 phases. And yeah, even the members from cohort 3, whoever they will be, will have a different project. So it's always going to be different, right? But I want to stress that it is individualized to every single person, right? We help them with their project, and so that stays the same.
The reason is only because I would prefer to take the next one time-wise, because I'm very busy. And I imagine, I know the way I am, I'll want to work on it all the time. and
Yeah.
not do anything else.
So yeah, we're very aware of that. Everyone has different schedules, different time zones, different workloads. So we're very accommodating in that respect, and we always work with every single person. Right? We're talking about small cohorts here. It's not mass classes, so we can be very personalized. So we work towards everyone and their time zones.
Bonnie, I
and
can stay after
schedules.
that. Bonnie, I can stay after that for 5 minutes and give you like a more complete, thorough explanation of how things are happening. Right?
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else has any questions? NFTs, Web3, blockchain, anything that they want to learn, they want to, dip their toes in? I know that we had some other questions, but I want to make a special mention. Is Lizel and Antonio here?
Antonio had to leave. He had to go. Lisa is here.
Lizel is here. Lizel, I don't want to put you on the spot. You're one of our favorites, you know that. We would like, since you're a part of the member of the cohort 1, how do you feel after that? And you're still here, you're a part of our community, you're active and you're growing and you're building your project. How do you feel after your cohort? Give to our friends here a small sentiment, how you feel about it.
I think for me, the cohort was absolutely putting my whole concept in my mind in perspective, so I can start planning towards a active plan and to start implementing. And that's what's amazing, is that I will carry on growing with the forest, being able to do the next one and implement every single time a little bit more. And as tech evolve and change nowadays, it's going to change the whole time. And at least we don't have to worry about it that much, because you guys, being the experts, are going to feed us. I think what was very valuable for me was the personal interaction, which was absolutely amazing. So wherever each of us was stuck or needed help, you guys were there to guide us. You were true knock to us in that sense. So thank you for that. And yeah, I'm still here to learn a lot.
Yes, Lizzo, thank you so much. We're so thankful that we had you in the first cohort, and we're so thankful that you're still here for the journey. And yeah, stay tuned, because the journey never ends. We have a lot of things to learn, and we have a lot of things to do. So thank you again on behalf of our team. So thank you. I don't want to drag this presentation more. I know it's been quite a while time that we use from your time, and we really appreciate it. If you guys have any specific questions about cohort 2, feel free to stay, and so we can answer some questions, and thank you all for being here. Thank you to my co-founders, Jacob, Rachel, John, Chris, and thank you to my co-founders. They're going to see the video that they couldn't be here today. Yes, and all the creatives, we all have to do it, guys. The blockchain is happening. Let's bring our creative energy and create amazing projects to change the world. So I'm really, really excited about the future. So thank you. That's it. So I guess we have some people. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. So we can stay here and answer questions about the cohort. Bonnie, I can walk you through specifically how the cohort is going to be conducted. All right. So we don't have a steady date yet, because we just launched the final curriculum, but it's 6 weeks. That means 1 day a week. We have a workshop that it's 90 minutes and maybe more. And we share on an immersive fashion our teachings. We try to activate you on real time to actually make exercises. So it's not something that you take home and you read it and you study it. We try to make it as immersive as possible. So you're building while you're doing the workshop. And that's something unique we try to provide. And we didn't mention it because, like Jacob said, we don't want to make it a promotional about the forest. We want to meet people. We want to inspire people. So this is a a workshop that you're going to join and you're going to actually build your project. This is not a workshop that you're going to take it, download the videos, and I mean, you can, but we want to empower you to do it in real time. So our goal is bring people with their projects, understand them, the projects, and help them to actually build a project. So every workshop, it's a meaningful workshop. So number one, so 6 weeks, 1 day per week. Then we have study rooms that the members of the cohort organize. You know, we may have some people from the founders jump in with other questions, and you guys actually study about ideas, discuss about ideas, you know, sharing your ideas and the projects. And we saw that from the cohort 1, that was a very active application of what we actually were doing. People sharing ideas and having input from each other. And a co-founder was actually observing and monitoring and participating in this brainstorming effort. By the end of the workshop, you get all the tools and all the information you need to build and upload your project to the Web3. All right. I don't know if anybody from the co-founders has anything to say, but this is the very simple form of what we're doing it. And there is quite a good amount of information. So we're trying to explain it as simple as we can. You heard some terms now, smart contracts, airdrops, you know, we don't know what it is, right? But we try to explain every terminology, every term of the terminology in those workshops. We try to be as explicit as possible. The first workshop, the first cohort was 13 weeks. We really extended, we really extracted the whole thing. Now we try to streamline it, we condensed it, and we have, let's say, the most important from all this information that's going to activate you to actually build your project. The price is half an ETH. That means right now, based on the price of the Ethereum, it's $650 approximately. If you don't have a wallet, if you haven't used crypto, one person from our team, they're going to guide you to make a wallet and to teach you how to upload funds to your wallet so you can make transactions in the NFT world. So we try to be here from the beginning for you. Is my explanation sufficient? Do you have any? You're still muted, I'm sorry.
I have a wallet and I had a problem of what to do with the money to pay you. I guess you can go on that another time.
Yeah, we can go that another time, but it's doable.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was having problems with.
Yeah, pretty much everybody, all of us, when we tried to build a wallet, we had some kind of problems at the beginning. So I totally get it. But once you get once you get the hold of it, I mean, then it's an extension.
I mean, I forgotten I went and bought Bitcoin and I lost money. I transferred it back the next day, but
Yeah. Listen, I mean, right now the market is like the actual market out there, not the crypto market only. I mean, the market is really fluctuates. If you ask me, this is the best time to build projects in the NFT world because right now the market is kind of on the low side. So for me, when there is like a bear market, a low market, this is where actually I make my investments and I want to make projects going. So if you really have a project and you have aspiration to build a project, and I'm not saying it because you have the cohort, you can do something else. I think that's the time right now to invest and actually build something.
Okay, thank you, Costas.
Thank you, Bonnie. It's very good to see you again. Thank you so much for coming again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Anybody else? I don't see my chat. My co-founders, do we have on the chat anything? No? So we were very clear, all right? I assume. So, Jacob, do you want to close the... Maybe we can have all the co-founders to say something. So...
Thanks, Costas. Yeah, well, thank you everyone for joining. There will be replay sent out to you if you want to revisit this. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with you guys. You can join our Discord. We have free channels in there where you can contact all of us. Also, just email as well if that's convenient, more convenient. We are here to answer your questions. We'll guide you through everything if you want to join the forest. So thank you for joining.
Rachel, John, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys have more questions or just kind of want to lurk around and learn some stuff and see what we're doing, see what some people in the forest group are doing, definitely join our Discord and just kind of check it out. I know that's how I kind of got started in Web3, was just joining a bunch of Discord channels and kind of see what's happening, learn from people, see what people are talking about, see what projects they're sharing. It's a good way to learn, and it's a good way to ask questions. We have a newbie channel, so any questions that you have, you can throw in there and one of us will jump in and answer it at any time. So come join us in the forest. Thank you guys for coming.
Great. All right. I'm going to close the Zoom now. So see you in the forest. Hoot hoot.
Bye-bye, guys. Hoot hoot.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Chris.